Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Ben.
What's the channel called?
Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry. Wait.
Hello and welcome back to Ben and Danielle Reviews. I'm Ben and we have a special guest today.
I'm Sharita.
Hello, Sharita. And today we're going to be talking about our top 50 games of all time. Starting from 50 down to number 1. We're going to do 5 different videos for 10 games for each video today, starting with 50 through 41. And I hear you want to start with your number 50. Here, let's Sharita start.
You know.
All right, what's your number 50?
The one I just made 5 minutes ago, or the one I just did?
Whatever.
Well, the one I just did was Codenames.
Codenames. Codenames. Tell us about Codenames.
Well, it's a fun game to play with more than like 4 people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you have like one person give you clues, and I don't know.
It's a team game. Codenames is a team game where each team is going to have a leader, which is going to give a clue. It'll be a one-word clue, and the other members are going to be trying to guess what the hidden word is, secret words are. Fun game. I've had some not so great experiences with it, so Codenames dropped out of my top 50 this year.
It did?
Yes. We had some not great experiences this year with that game.
Could you elaborate, please?
We had some people that were not too fun to play with that really wanted to be in charge.
I remember the twins.
Yeah, we had some.
Hope they don't watch this.
I don't think we're worried about that. So that's our number 50, Codenames. You know how I said Codenames dropped out of my top 50?
Yeah.
Well, my number 50 is actually not Codenames, it's Codenames Duet.
I've never got to play that one.
Yeah, Codenames Duet. That is the 2-player version of Codenames. So it's a cooperative game where one person gives the clues, the other person guesses the clues, and then you alternate. Then one person will give the clues because each person's going to have clues on their side. So it's 2-sided cards where, so you're giving clues. They're 25-word grid, just like with regular Codenames, but you're working together to guess the words together.
Would you say that Codenames is kind of like, is it Categories I'm thinking of? What's that game where there's like a game show network back in the day?
Yeah, okay.
Like you give them clues and they'd have to guess what the word was. But you can't say what the word was.
Password?
No, it was
It's
something
like,
with...
It's like Password. I'm only familiar with Password.
You haven't seen it back in like the 70s when
No.
like the host would smoke on there?
No.
It's gonna bother me.
Yeah, so Codenames fell out of my list. It was replaced by Codenames Duet just because Codenames Duet I've had some bad experiences with. Codenames Duet has just been good experiences. That's kind of like my go-to like date game or just 2-player game, like couples games.
Yeah.
Good for you and Alyssa should get that to play.
Well, it would have been nice if you taught me how to play that game, but
yes. So this game actually, back in 2022, so it wasn't on my list last year. It was replaced with Codenames. My number 2022 was my number 8 game. So
this was number 8 in 2022.
Yeah, so it went from number 8 2 years ago to now number 50. Just because it hasn't gotten played as much. Used to be my game to play with Alex a lot. So that's why it was in our top 10.
I was thinking of the Alex with the glasses. Oh wait,
Yeah.
they both wear glasses. I'm talking about Alex from Wednesday night.
Oh yeah, him. Yeah, different Alex. Different gender. But yeah, so Codenames, and yeah, we used to fight a lot playing this game, but we had a good time. I used to give great clues, and she used to tell me I gave terrible clues.
Well, she's a terrible person.
Oh.
Just kidding, I don't know her.
So that's number 50, Codenames Duet. What's your number 49?
You know what? I'm gonna pass. You can go first.
Come on. What's your number 49?
Well, I don't really... Okay, I remember...
That one?
Yeah, It's a Wonderful World, but I don't really...
Yeah, so it's a wonderful... So number 49 is It's a Wonderful World. It's a Wonderful World is a sort of civilization kind of game, kind of like similar to Seven Wonders. You have different buildings that you're building up. You have different types of resource cubes that you are collecting, and you're using those resource cubes to build buildings, and those buildings will get you more cubes and cubes, getting as many buildings with as many points as you can. It's a cool mechanism of having one activate after another, and where with a lot of civilization games you get all your resources all at once, whereas this one you get your resources one at a time.
I like that. I find it games like that, just any type of like gathering resources or like patterns, I tend to like those games.
Yeah.
I don't really give much detail about it besides I don't know, I just like them.
Yeah, no, it's a good game. It's definitely one that I want to get played more.
Yeah, we should play it soon.
Yes, it is one that you want to have 4 or 5 players for. So that's the only problem with that. Because then it's more interaction with card drafting. Because it's not as fun.
Oh yeah, no, I remember.
Because it's not as fun when you're passing cards back and forth between 2 people. It's more fun when you have 4 people to pass cards to.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when you have a 2-player game, it's the best card drafter is always going to win, because they're going to take the best cards and then pass all the other cards to someone else.
Unless you're Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie. Yeah. If you sit next to Jamie in this game, forget about it.
Yeah, you're a goner.
My number 49 was my number 21 last year. So it's dropped a little bit.
Well, let's see.
It's a little card game. It's a French card game. It's going to be out of print soon. And that's The Bloody Inn.
Wait, did we play that?
We have not played this yet. You haven't played this one yet? So this is a card game in which you are running a 1800s inn in France, and you play as family members running the inn, and you will have guests going in, checking into your rooms of your hotel. You can get money for them staying in your rooms, but instead, if you want to, during the night, you can go into their rooms and whack them off and kill them and take all their money. Instead, if you...
Oh yeah, you showed me this. I don't know if we played it though.
I don't think we played this yet. Yes, so you can take all their money, but you do have to bury their bodies before the cops come around checking for bodies.
Okay, so...
Yeah, so it's a very dark theme, but it's very comical in the way it does it. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not very like seriously gory, like the theme, like you think that this is a super intense game, but it's more tongue-in-cheek humor of whacking people off versus actually seriously killing people.
So would you say this is the type of game that you would bring to Bible camp?
I don't know about that, but it's a game that works for me for sure. They might take this a little too seriously.
They would?
Yes.
Or, your next door neighbor that might become a serial killer, they might let you enjoy that game.
This game isn't as serious as it seems. It's kind of more tongue-in-cheek, the humor in it, because you can actually go the whole game without killing someone. I know when I played this with Alex the first time, she went the whole game without killing anyone. She didn't win the game.
Of course not. You gotta be a killer to win,
Yeah, but you get strategies. What you can do, you can, if you want to, you can just build up your criminal empire and just because another thing you can do instead of killing your guests is you can recruit them to your empire. Yes, and help you do the killings.
Oh, that's better. So you can be the mastermind.
Yeah, yeah, and then you can have the other guests help you kill them.
And you'll just get arrested for conspiracy, not for actual murder.
If you're gonna do that, you got to make sure that every time there's a cop that comes through the hotel, you gotta kill them off. Nice. That way you can't you don't have to worry about it if you just keep killing the cops. You just have to have a place to bury the bodies, because you have to have people that help you, because you can't bury the bodies yourself. So you gotta have eventually there comes to a point where you just recruit all the other guests to help you bury the bodies.
That's sick.
But yeah.
Can't wait to play that one.
Yeah, it's not a very seriously dark game. It's more comically dark. All right, what's your number 48?
Okay.
Hopefully not as dark.
Yeah, so actually, 48 is First Rat.
First Rat, yes, right here.
I like that game. It's fun, but I really like its name. and there's a guy that lives in my building that has a lot of rats, and so it reminds me of him. And I like that you gather resources and you try to build like a rat spaceship, right?
Yes, they are rats, and they read comic books, and within those comic books they gain the knowledge of how to build a spaceship that takes them to the moon, which is made of cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Because rats like cheese.
I liked this when we played with 4 people. I don't know.
5, didn't we?
Or 5.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can play with 1 player, but I don't know if that would be fun.
No, I would want to play with at least 2 players, but it's fun. The more people, the more spaces are covered up, and the more crunchy the game is.
Is this on any of your lists? Your top 1,000?
It might show up later on the list, possibly.
Oh, in the top 50?
It might show up later.
Okay, good.
Depends.
He will go into more detail when we get to.
Possibly.
Stay tuned for that.
Well, possibly. We'll see about that. Put that over there, please. My number 48 was my number 49 last year.
Wow, it moved up.
It moved up, yeah. So we played I played like 300 different games this year, and so if a game like stays steady, that's pretty much moving up. The same thing is moving up. But this is a game you haven't played. It's out of print right now.
Oh, that's great.
But there is a guy. I don't know if you ever met Mark, who used to come to the game nights and Saturdays.
Is he the one that he is like? He wears glasses and he always has a pencil and he's like this.
The older guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him?
Yeah. He used to bring all the Euro games, but he used to play the same game every week.
Yep.
That game that he used to play every week. St. Petersburg. So St. Petersburg is another sort of like a engine building. I guess it's sort of a civilization almost building game. You are getting workers. Those workers will give you money. You'll spend that money to get buildings. Those buildings will give you points. With those points, and then you'll also be buying more like diplomats and better buildings, and those are going to get you points and money, and rinse repeat until the dex runs out. It's a very dry theme. The art isn't the prettiest, but it's a pretty solid game. Not the easiest to get right now, but it's definitely worth checking out. If you're looking for something that's super pretty, probably not the go-to, but mechanically, though, this is a pretty sound game, and it's not as hard as it looks. Pretty simple to get into. Plays in an hour and a half. The box says 45 minutes, but it's kind of like an hour and a half, but which isn't long for a Euro experience. St. Petersburg. I don't know if you'd like this game or not.
You know, I'm not trying to judge a book by its cover, but, you know, if you really wanted to play it and it made your top 50, I mean, I guess I'd try it.
Yeah. I know, and poor Jamie. Jamie used to have to play this like 3 weeks in a row, and then after the 3rd week, she was like, no, I'm just going to play a game with Ben instead.
What are we on now?
We are on 47.
All right, so... Okay, my 47 is Century Golem Edition.
Century Golem Edition. Awesome.
Ben will say that people say that it is a Splendor killer, but I disagree. I feel like Century Golem Edition made me like Splendor even more.
Yeah. You see the similarities between the two, though, with the mechanics and how
yeah,
it
like
works?
you know, like gathering like pieces and stuff like that, and like trying to build up a card deck, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Sorry, I'm kind of dry.
It's got a cool mechanic, though, of where you're playing your cards, and you can, on your turn, you can either, like with Splendor, you can buy a card, you can buy a golem, or I guess, a card that gets you points.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do what's called a passing turn, which lets you pick up all the cards from your hand. There's other games that have done that, but I just think that's a cool mechanic. I know we played Aquatica, which is like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought Aquatica was more like a little bit more difficult.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. It's a very simple version of that with Century Golem. There's a Spice Road edition. I know you talked about possibly picking that up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. So we'll see where it lands next year on your list. If it stays on your list, if it gets played more, see if it really does kill Splendor for you.
It's not. Nothing can kill Splendor.
All right. So my number 47 was my number 17 last year.
Wow.
And it was number 18 the 2 years prior to that.
Well,
it is I guess it's kind of an abstract game. I'm not sure if it's on your list or not this year. But it is Azul. So Azul is a tile game where you'll have factory displays in the central board, and you are going to be taking all of one type from a display. You're going to put it onto your board in hopes of filling up rows. When you fill up rows at the end of the round, you will put them into your stained glass display to score points based on where they're positioned adjacent to other tiles, and you're trying to get the most points. So there's kind of two ways to play it. There is the way where everyone is just trying to get the tiles that they want, and then there's also the kind of way where you're just kind of just getting tiles to force your opponent to take tiles they can't take, and force them to lose points. So you can play the friendly way where you're just trying to do your own thing, or you can play the screw your neighbor way.
Yeah, if you play on what is it called? Board Game Arena.
Yeah.
If you play Azul on there, they they play the way where you know.
Yeah.
Screw someone else over.
Yeah, it can get very mean, especially when you're playing in the 2-player game with this. It's a lot easier with the 4-player game to just kind of do what you want, whereas the 2-player game, a lot of people are more looking out for themselves.
I'm not gonna lie, when I played that 2-player game with said person, I think we quit mid-game.
Yeah?
Yeah, it wasn't going well. But it's on my list.
It's fun, yeah.
What number was that?
Number 47. 47, yeah, dropped from 17. Right, what's your 47?
46?
46, yes.
Okay, now this is one I'm going to need help.
Sure.
Explain it. It's called Terraform Mars Ares Edition. Or
Yep.
Expedition.
Yep, Terraform Mars Ares Expedition.
It took me like 2 hours to like play it because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yep.
But I have a feeling if I play it again with like Ben and maybe Jamie, it'll probably go up on my list.
Yeah.
I forgot why I liked it so much.
Should I explain a little bit about it?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
like challenged my brain a lot.
Yeah, so a Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition is the shorter card game version of Terraforming Mars. So Terraforming Mars is this like big board game with tons of cards, and you are working together to terraform Mars, but you're trying to do it selfishly. You're playing as a corporation, and you're trying to get the most points. And with that, they have Ares Expedition, which is the version that we like to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little shorter. It's a little simpler to teach. Yes. So the other version's like 3.5 hours.
Wow. So if I thought this was complicated,
So
I'll be done for.
No, but it's a good game though. It's very sciencey. There's some cool cards. There's some cool mechanics. It also has that action selection, kind of like Race for the Galaxy, where you're choosing the actions that are done each round, whereas instead of having every action happen every round.
I think this would go in my top 10 if I played it some more. Yeah. I definitely, because now thinking about it, it was really, really fun. I just didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Maybe get it and try it solo is what I would recommend to you. I don't know if you ever want to get into solo gaming, but that's one I might recommend you getting into.
Okay,
possibly.
I might need like, what's it called? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. When somebody watches you.
Oh yeah.
What is it called? When someone watches you.
Just a spectator.
No, like
backseat driver.
No, like they're like babysitting you, but like what's the word?
Running through it with you.
No, it's supervision.
Okay.
Yeah, supervision. Yeah,
okay.
I need supervision to make sure I'm doing it right.
Yeah, the solo mode I've tried it a couple times. It's not easy. Basically, you have like 25 turns or so to terraform Mars, and you're just playing against the game trying to terraform Mars.
Oh.
Yeah. So Terraform Mars Ares Expedition. Yeah, I look forward to seeing where it gets to next year. Hoping it'll continue to be on your list. It definitely was higher last year.
On your list?
Yeah.
Is it on your list now?
It might be on my list now, possibly.
What's your 46?
My 46. So, when you talk about like my favorite games, this isn't a game that comes to mind. But every time we play it, like literally everyone at the table is just laughing, having a really good time.
Mm-hmm.
Even the people that are super serious into gaming are just like laughing the whole time we play this game. And that's the Sheriff of Nottingham. Remember that? We had a good time when we played this game. What? So in Sheriff of Nottingham, you play. One player is going to play as the sheriff, and it's going to rotate every round. And the sheriff is going to be kind of like border patrol, and the rest of the players are going to be putting goods in these bags and smuggling them past the sheriff. And they are declaring what goods are in the bag, and then the sheriff has to decide whether they trust the person as what they declared is in the bag or not.
Yeah, they want to see if you're smuggling drugs.
Yeah, the contraband, that meat and cheese, that Gouda cheese and spice, pepper. Can't be doing that. That's not allowed.
I mean, this game was fun, but everyone thought I was lying every time, so they didn't take me too seriously.
Yeah. It's not one of those games when I think about my favorite games of all time, but every time we played it, everyone's just had a good time playing it, and
Yeah.
I just couldn't deny keeping it off the list.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, the most serious person, they end up laughing in this game.
Yeah.
If they don't, they're probably a psychopath.
Yeah, so Sheriff of Nottingham, not going to be on your list, I don't think, just yet.
Maybe in the top 100, but...
Yeah. We'll see. I know there's a lot of people in our group that like this game a lot, so I feel like it'll get some plays this coming year.
Okay.
So we'll see where it lands. I'm gonna put this down here though. All right, you're number 45.
My number 45 is Seven Wonders.
Seven Wonders. Okay.
So this game, we were playing it at Level Up. My wife was joining, and so basically there's a whole bunch of like card drafting of getting like resources, right?
Yeah.
And so they were seven? Wait, how many rounds were there?
3 rounds.
3 rounds, and by the 3rd round, I'm like, okay, are we ready to play the game? And then Ben was like, that was the game. So basically, just gathering resources the whole time, and then scoring points that way. I mean, I liked it, but I thought it was just a preparation for the actual game itself.
But it's in your top 50 though, so
Yeah, I liked
you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed those resources.
Yeah, and there's some interesting decisions to be made in what cards you pass to your opponent, because the cards that you're passing to them, they're going to be using against you, especially if they're military cards.
Oh yeah.
Because you got to be careful how many military cards you're passing to your opponent, and also the type of cards, because they're going to be using those cards against you.
So keep your military cards.
Yeah. That's a good choice. 7 Wonders. It was really high last year on my list.
What was it?
Last year I had it at... There's so many papers here. I had it at 32 last year.
What is it now?
I don't know if it made the list or not. I don't think it did. You can
Now
see.
he won't see. I don't know his list, and he won't let me see it.
But I don't think it made the list this year.
What do you mean you don't know? You're looking.
I only see 50 through 41 right now.
But are you in the top 100?
I did my top 50.
Okay, so it's got to be better than 41 then, if it made your list.
Yes, but it's not. I don't think it's on my list this year.
Okay.
I think it dropped out just because there's a few other games that we played that have that scratch that same itch.
Mm-hmm. Scratch it. I like that.
Yeah, no, that do that same thing, card drafting and civilization building game. Because one of them you mentioned was It's a Wonderful World. That's another one that kind of replaced 7 Wonders for me.
Oh, okay.
So I'll still play it. It's still in my top 100, but it's just not one that I will go to as often. Unless there's like new players in our group, and I'll want to teach them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those games that gets like a good reaction from people, but it's not going to ever be anyone's like favorite game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 45. Yes. All right. So my number 45 was my number 27 last year, and then it was 16 the year before that.
Wow.
And then it was 26th the year before that. So
it's been up and down, eh?
It's been up and down. I think it's settling in the spot where it's going to be.
Have I played it before?
You have played it. You do own it.
No, wait, that's your copy you let me use.
Yeah.
Welcome to?
It is not Welcome to. It is.
Give me a hint.
It is the Quetzalcoatlinburg.
Oh yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah, the Quetzalcoatlinburg. That is a push your luck, a bag building game in which you are playing as these sort of quack doctors, trying to build the next cure for these diseases, and you're selling them at the market, trying to go as far and put as many ingredients into your potion as you can without making it explode. The theme, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, why don't you give the viewers a view of the pieces that you paid for that would cost more than the actual game.
So I have the Board Game Geek upgraded bits, the plastic bits. I'll have to like show a picture on the video of that. But yeah, so definitely if you're gonna buy the game, I definitely recommend the Board Game Geek the Geek Up bits. Those are, I say it's essential. Other people argue otherwise.
Because it's just cardboard without it.
Yeah, it makes the game not only last longer, because with cardboard the oils on your fingers kind of soak into it and it kind of just wears out over time. These last longer, but they also feel nicer. They're thicker, chunkier pieces.
I really enjoyed this game. I recommend it for if you're beginning to get into games. Yeah. Would you say so?
Yeah, it's also a game that a lot of serious gamers enjoy as well.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you want to introduce somebody to games that are not going to make you completely mentally exhausted.
Yeah, it's also a game for game groups when I'm really busy doing something, I can be hey, here Eli, here's Quetzalcoatlinburg, have fun. And then everyone else just has a good time while I'm able to work on what I need to in the shop.
Oh, so it'd keep the kids busy.
Keeps the kids busy.
Oh, nice.
But yes, it's also a good game by itself. It's not one that I want to play every day like I used to. That's why it's dropped a little bit on the list. But it's still in my top 50 after all the games I played this year. So that means something.
Yeah, it does.
All right, number 44.
Mine is Splendor Duel.
Splendor Duel, yep.
All right, so I know I shouldn't talk about, but the actual Splendor is really fun. I like Splendor Duel, but not as much as the regular Splendor, because I don't know how to explain it. I'm not the best at explaining stuff like this.
I did not play this one. You and Jamie played this one.
Okay, so in regular Splendor, where you have to you can grab coins, right?
Yep.
To buy certain cards or nobles,
yep.
Right? In this game, you have a map of the coins.
Sure.
And you have to grab them in a row.
Yeah.
And so you might grab one that you don't need or whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's one. I mean, I like it because you still get to collect cards and whatnot, but I don't like that you have to basically your partner can, or not your partner, but your opponent can mess up the map where you have to grab pieces you don't necessarily need. Kind of reminds me of Azul, but I know that was kind of not the best explanation.
So the regular Splendor is probably going to be higher up on your list, I'm sure. And but I will say most of the people I talked to that have played both Splendor and Splendor Duel prefer Splendor Duel.
Really?
Yeah, most of the people I talked to prefer Splendor Duel over Splendor.
Really?
Yeah, but that's cool though.
See, I'm opposite.
Yeah.
You talk about Century Golem Edition, you say it's a Splendor killer, and I think it makes Splendor even better.
Hey, historically, I've always put Splendor higher than Century Golem 2, though.
Okay.
So I'm not going to argue with that. But number 44 is a game you haven't played. It's also new to my list this year.
Really?
I've tried to get you to play it a couple times, though.
Okay, let me guess. Don't tell me. It's, you just got it, and it is...
Did get it recently within...
Is it the one that looks like Abraham Lincoln?
Yes.
Furnace.
Furnace. That is right. It is Furnace. So Furnace is a straight engine building game there's some auction mechanic to it. You don't have to spend real money. You're just placing your bet chips on different spots. The highest bid gets the chip, and then the other ones are gonna what's called compensated, where they'll get a compensation reward for their bids. And you're just building up these industrial your industrial system here, and you're trying to get the most amount of points by the end of 4 rounds. It's a very fast game for the kind of experience that you're getting, and it's definitely worth checking out. That's Furnace by Arcane Wonders. There's an expansion you can get that adds a 5th player to it if you wanted to. But Furnace is just a very a crunchy game packed within a half-hour period.
Oh, okay. So it's easy to teach then?
Yeah. Yeah, and there is a lot of decisions to be made in like how you want to activate your cards in order to be the most efficient. But still, it's a good experience, and it plays 30 minutes to an hour, so it's a win for me. Get that kind of the same kind of auction experience and engine building in an hour.
I'll have to play it.
Yes, definitely. It'll get played.
My number 43 is Flamecraft. Originally, when I learned how to play this game, I thought it was extremely complicated. Just probably because I'm not really aware of dragons like that. But after playing it a couple times, it definitely made my list. So basically, would you say like dragons? They have shops.
The dragons are helping run the shops. They're not the dragons' shops. It's humans that have the shops. The dragons just help run the shops. Yes, I guess it's a simple game, like engine building game where you're a resource management where you're building up different types of resources and you're turning them into get these like enchantments, what'll give you points, and then when you do enchantments, you get to fire up a whole bunch of abilities. Last year, it was kind of like my go-to introductory game. Like
Really?
Yeah. So every year, So you touched on that. You thought it was complicated
At first.
Yeah.
At first.
But for me, that was last year in 2023. That was just the year that I just taught it to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I kind of got a little burned out on it. It was really high last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was like just outside my top 10. I still really enjoy the game, but I feel like there's a couple people that champion this game and just are like absolutely obsessed with it in our game group, and they've kind of carried the torch for this game, so I don't have to anymore. It's a great game. It sells really well at the shops, and we're on our like 3rd batch of it already.
I'm thinking about picking it up.
Yeah, it's worth it. Definitely a good game. It's an easy game to teach. Once you know how the game works, teaching it's a breeze. I
Says the expert.
Flamecraft. It might be on my list. I'm not sure where it's at this year. But my number 43 is a game I'm surprised isn't on your list. Or at least it hasn't been on your list yet. It might be higher. It was my number 18 last year.
Have I played it? Oh yeah, obviously I have.
You've played it, and you own it. It is a kind of a smaller game. It's a nature-themed game. No. It's Cascadia.
It is on my list.
Yeah. So Cascadia is I guess it's a tile placement game? Yeah. So it's a tile placement game where you are building up these different terrain, and you're building up basically your own Cascade Mountain range of sorts, and then on those different areas you're going to be placing animals, and animal placement matters in this game. Each animal, there's going to be 5 types of animals. There's going to be elk, bears, hawks, salmon, and foxes. Each of them are going to score a different way, and you want to get the most amount of points after you placed, I think it's 36 tiles.
Wow.
So 36 turns, and yeah, it's most points wins. It's also, so I talk about Flamecraft being games that I taught a whole ton of back in 2023. That was the same with this game in 2022.
Yeah, I really like this game. Didn't you say it's kind of like, what were those 2 games we were talking about that it kind of reminds us of?
It's definitely Carcassonne for me, but also
There was another one.
Calico.
No. I don't know. I forgot what the other one was, but definitely not Calico.
It's from the same company that put out Calico.
Well, this is definitely the better one of the two, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like them both personally. But yeah, so that I will say this. I'll talk a little bit more about the other one later. But this one is a lot more expansive as the game goes on. The longer the game goes, the more options you have for places to play things.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Calico is the exact opposite. Though you have less and less options the more the game goes on.
Yep.
And I know, like, we've had people go back and forth on Calico Cascadia. I know people in our game group are definitely pro Calico or pro Cascadia. They have their opinion on the two.
I'm just biased because I don't really like cats. I would save a cat's life, but just playing a game about a cat, just, I don't know, it's not as
Sure.
appetizing as the first rat.
Quilting and cats are your two favorite things, don't
Yep.
you know? But yeah, Cascadia, it is a really fun game. Definitely a very good if you want a family weight or introductory experience. This is going to be one of the best ones. And nature theme. It doesn't hurt anyone.
And I think it's pretty.
Yeah. Because people are like, I hate cats, I like cats. And no one's going to look at this and be like, oh, I hate nature.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that. Cascadia. My number 43. All right, my number 42. Your number 42.
Okay, my number 42 is Nightmare Productions.
All right.
I really like this game because you're supposed to be making a scary movie.
Yes.
And basically, I think the game was better when we played with like 4 people.
Yeah, it's. I think it's better at higher player counts. It plays up to 5 out of the box.
Mm-hmm. But basically, you're trying to make the best scary movie by drafting cards that are worth, like a weapon that's worth. Can you help me out,
Like
please?
2 stars, yes. So Nightmare Productions is going to be an auction-style game by Reiner Knizia. Reiner Knizia has designed thousands of games, including multiple games like this with auction style, and you're building up a movie. This game's been printed a bunch of times with different themes, whether it be old Hollywood stars or just generic movie themes. They're finally worked together with a company called Trick or Treat Productions, Trick or Treat Studios, which they make horror related, like they're like Halloween company, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so they made a horror theme, and it works so well.
I like this game because like you can look at what your opponents need to complete their film, and you can take that piece to like make their movie like a lower star rating.
Yeah. Another thing with that is you see something that someone wants. All the money that they spend is going to go back to you.
Oh yeah, you can bid.
So you can bid it up because all the money that they spend, if they have to spend a couple extra mil on their movie, that those extra couple mil are going into your paycheck, and that's going to add, and those money is going to be points at the end of the game. So whatever money you don't spend is going to be your points.
That's how I won the game once.
Yeah.
By collecting the money.
Yeah, and I know they're a smaller company, Trick or Treat Studios, so it's not the easiest to get your hands on a copy. So you got your hands on a copy, and
yes, I did.
we both have our own copies of it, and we enjoy it. Finally, glad that it's back, at least in print, somewhat, after being out of print for years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the older versions were out of print for a while.
Do you have any of the older versions?
I thought about picking one up. I had a used copy in my hands for like $20 back in Seattle at a game store, and I didn't pick it up.
Oh.
But I regretted it, but then they finally came out with Nightmare Productions, and I feel okay with that. That theme works nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a massive horror movie fan, but that theme just works. Alright, so my number 42 is also new to me this year. It's a game that we played a bunch of at the shop, but it's a little card game, but I don't know how many times you played it. I know you played it at least once. Yes, it's Scout.
Oh, we've played it a lot.
Yes. So Scout is a cool like ladder climbing game. It's kind of like our go-to game for like if we have 2-3 people and we're waiting on Sharita to show up. Or just one more person to show up. I'm just calling your name out, like you're the only
or if you only have like 20 minutes left.
Yes.
And you want to fit in another game.
Yes. So yes, I'm glad it's final. I was finally able to get a copy of this. It's a game from Oink Games, so they're a company out of Japan, so they're not the easiest to get their hands on, but lately more and more Oink games have been showing up in America, so I'm all for it. They always have this tiny little box, so it's great for putting in your pocket. It fits so nicely in my front pocket of my bag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can put that in my fanny pack.
Yeah, it's a nice little ladder climbing game, and at the beginning you have a lot of options. I also like the mechanic of where you're not allowed to rearrange your hand, and so you have to kind of like build your hand accordingly.
Yeah, I think that part is unique for sure.
Yes. I definitely want to play some more of it. I'm hoping I don't get burned out of this game because I'm enjoying playing it right now, but it's getting played a lot.
Yeah, I've played it a lot with you.
But yeah, it's just so easy just to play a couple hands of Scout while you're waiting for someone.
Yeah.
We'll have to find another game to add into that so we don't get burned out of Scout.
Splendor Duel.
Splendor Duel? That's only 2 players though.
Oh yeah.
Well,
if it was just 2, if we're just waiting on more people and it's just
sure.
us 2.
There you go. That works. All right.
So my 41 was Ben's 47. Azul.
Azul, yes.
Originally, when I played Azul, I definitely rated it a 10 because I thought it was really cool. But you kind of get the gist of it after playing it several times. You notice that you need to like get, how do I explain it? You understand the patterns better, so you know like what you need to get in order to complete the pattern, and also I don't know what else is it.
Then again, like same thing with Splendor though.
No, because it switches up.
Yeah,
because you have different like, okay, the cards are all different in Splendor, and they switch every time you play it, and you have different like nobles that are different every time you play it.
Sure.
But with this, like, you have to complete, how do I say it?
That's the same row. You can play with the backside.
I haven't played the backside.
Where you make your own grid.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it gets a little chaotic.
Oh, I haven't played that way.
You can really, yeah.
But once you play it a few times, you realize, okay, like I need to, if I want to get the most amount of points, let me make sure I get all one color in each row, because that's like an extra 10 points. Or I also like when you play and when you grab a tile that the other person needs. So Ben was saying like how you can make them lose points.
Yeah, you play this like really on and when you're getting into games, and it's interesting like seeing the games from that period that you did get burned out on, and the games that you didn't get burned out on from that time period.
I mean, I still like this game a lot. I didn't like playing it with 2 players. I like playing it with like at least like 3 or 4.
Sure. Yeah, you might need to find a game that fits this niche for 2 players for you.
Yeah, we do. We do have one.
Yeah.
Patchwork.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Would you say so?
Sure.
Or am I way off?
I don't think it's that far off.
This reminds me of Patchwork.
Sure. I think this is a little bit different from an Uwe game, but also you can make the same comparison with this in a lot of games. They're all very abstracted in themes. They're all very dry, themeless games that just are just mechanically just sound. So yeah, it's a good choice. It definitely was on my list. Definitely dropped, but it could climb back up. Yeah, I only have 1 game left on this page.
Okay, have I played it?
You have not. I wanted you to play this so bad. It was my number 69 last year.
And now it's your number 41?
It is my number 41 now. Also, I will say it's because I own a copy this year. I didn't own a copy last year. I played it. And also, I also didn't play it at all last year. I played it 2 years ago when this version came out, and then I played People from the Game Group's copy back in Seattle, because it's a Stonemeyer game. But we played it one of the weeks that you didn't come, And
Can I just put a little side note in there? If you haven't noticed, I'm quite new to all this stuff.
Yes.
So you know, when he references all these you know, companies and
yes.
the artists
Yes.
of these games, I have no idea.
This is
Oh, yeah.
Libertalia, Winds of Galecrest. So it is a pirate game. Did we ever play Valbara?
No, but I want to. This is one I want to play.
Yes. So you're gonna really like this game.
Okay,
so
when can we play it?
We can play it Wednesday.
Okay.
I'll bring it Wednesday and we'll play it then. This is a Libertalia Winds of Galecrest is a pirate themed. This one is a air pirates, and you play. You'll have your own personal deck of cards.
Mhm.
Everyone's gonna have the same hand of cards,
Mhm.
so everyone's gonna have So there's gonna be the characters from 1 through 40, but with your own personal deck, you're gonna draw. Everyone's gonna draw the same cards.
Mhm.
And they're going to be playing them over a number of days for each round, and you're going to rearrange them in order from highest to lowest character. And so if you have a lower number card, you're going to have a better card effect, but you're going to be able to pick your treasure last. So you're going to get last dibs on the actual treasure you're going to get.
Mhm.
Whereas if you play a higher number card, you're not going to have as good of a card effect.
Is this like Jamaica?
No, Jamaica's more a race game. This is you're just trying to get the most points by getting treasures.
So you can't like steal treasures from other people.
You can steal treasures in the sense of like a Zool, where you're forcing your opponents to take things that they don't want.
Oh, okay, okay.
So you can steal things in that way. There are a couple card effects that let you steal things from your opponents, but there's not a ton of that. It's mostly just getting things before your opponents get to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it looks really I like how it looks.
Yeah. And that is Libertalia Winds of Galecrest. It also plays in about an hour, so you can get this kind of experience. You can pack 6 players at a table and play like an actual crunchy game within an hour, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, especially with that amount of people.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's Libertalia Winds of Galecrest. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and comment some of your favorite games, and hope to see you in the next video. Thank you everyone for watching. Bye.
Bye, thank you.